folks, bad news and good news.
Oh,
Mark, not with us anymore.
no, he could not make it to today's episode.
Good because...
He died.
Good news, bad news? Bad news. Good news?
That's the bad news that
Yes.
Mark died.
Good news?
Officially.
We
but
f-
I don't... No, we're sad. We miss him.
But with good news is we found Big Mark.
How you going, guys?
Hey, Big Mark.
I'm Big Mark.
Big Mark. Now, you are Mark,
Yes.
but you're bigger Mark.
Big Mark.
Big
How
Mark.
tall are you, Big Mark?
Big Mark is 6'3.5".
6'3.5".
You fucking dog.
Mark
Yeah,
was
Big
once the
Mark.
littlest Mark. Now
Yeah.
he's the biggest Mark.
Big Mark.
That's
Guess how much Big Mark weighs?
Well, I wouldn't want to ask because I don't know how Big Mark feels about that,
Yeah,
Big Mark.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, that's all right.
the
You don't
secret,
have to.
because I was gonna trap you there.
Yeah,
I was
no.
gonna trap you
Somewhere
and bash you.
And Big Mark, you're broad and you're tall, and
I'm
that's
broad
all
and
that
tall.
matters.
Yeah, I'm broad and tall and thick.
You're thick.
I'm thick with,
With
a double
two
C, with
Cs.
2 C's, thick. I'm
and of
thick
course
Mark,
you're played,
Big Mark, thick Mark.
And of course you're played by one of our absolute favourite comedians, Greg Larsen.
Now, Big
Absolute
Mark.
star
Big
of
Mark.
the Melbourne comedy
Yeah,
scene.
absolutely. Yeah.
Now, Mark, you are big.
Big thick Mark. Yeah.
Big, thick Mark.
Yeah.
Why? What are you Mark, though?
Yeah. I'm a version of Mark.
Mark Banana.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am him. Like, have you heard about fetal twins?
Yes.
I ate Mark. I am Mark Banano's fetal twin.
Right.
We were fetal twins together,
Right.
and I ate him
Okay.
in the womb.
But we knew Mark.
But we know Mark.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
that happen?
It's science has trouble explaining it, but essentially, I came out and I was too big. I was
Yeah.
like big to the point, like I was this size as a bub.
Right.
And then when I was one,
You would have been a C-section, I would hope, or...
no.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
That's Cronenbergian. That's
Yeah.
that's horrific.
Yeah. I like that. I like
So
that
you
reference.
came out this size, you ate Mark in the womb. Do babies
I-
eat other babies in the womb?
They
or is-
do
Yeah,
eat
yeah,
babies
yeah,
in the
they do,
womb.
yeah.
Most babies have eaten a baby in the womb.
Not munch,
It's
crunch,
actu-
crunch, but it's sort of like dissolve.
No,
and
it's
then
munch,
absorb.
munch, crunch, crunch.
Oh, is it? I
It's
thought it
munch-
was a dissolve
no,
absorb.
No, it's not a dissolve absorb. It's a munch, munch, crunch, crunch.
Oh.
The
No
baby
teeth.
go and then
Well, you're Big Mark. I'm
Yeah.
going to trust you on this.
yeah, I
man.
know because I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. I ate little Mark in
Yeah.
the womb.
Well, that's where
In
we're
the
at.
womb.
Well, that's where
Yeah.
we're at. So you munch,
Yeah.
munch, crunch,
crunch,
Mark.
Mark. Yeah,
And then at some point,
yeah.
we've known Mark.
Yeah.
Beard, no shoes, goes, here you going?
Yeah.
And I like it kind of unexplained. I was going to go down a sci-fi route with it, and then I'm like, no, you know, in the spirit of my previous reference, let's go a little bit 80s art house.
Yeah.
It just is.
Well, I can explain it if you want.
You can?
I can ruin the mystery
Because I quite like the, we knew Mark, but also you ate him in the womb.
Yeah,
and how does
yeah.
that work? What does that
you know,
mean?
but there's real things that happen.
Okay,
I mean,
go for
this might raise further questions.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
So essentially, at a certain point, I was too big.
Right.
I was too big my whole life.
You're the biggest
And here's
Mark.
the other thing. Here's the other thing, right? And I don't want to get too graphic, too dirty on this podcast.
No,
please.
please.
I don't want to get too dirty.
Science is dirty. Do you remember like seeing those naked shows on SBS and people were just going like, hey, I'm naked.
Yeah.
And it's, all that
Do
shows.
you remember the floor of the Melbourne Museum that had all the naked people?
That's what I'm thinking about.
I remember a show where they did an autopsy on a man.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
with that man, and he had the hat, the
And he had
German
the hat,
man.
and I thought it was a joke. And then I tuned in. I thought it was because he had the hat, and I
Yeah.
thought this is a joke.
Yeah.
And then I tuned in, and it was real, and I felt so sick.
Yeah, that was a full-on
I
show.
wish I hadn't watched it.
It
actually scarred
That
me.
was the peak. That was the peak of event television, wasn't it?
It really was. They did an There was a show that did an autopsy. There was an actual show on television that did an autopsy on people.
That was the final. That was the death cry of television.
9 o'clock at
Wow,
night.
what about if we cut up a body
and
for
the
you?
guy had a weird hat. He looked all weird.
Yeah, oh, it did feel like a joke. And from memory, it had like a setup like Top Gear, where there was people like a live audience, but they were standing around.
It was it was when you mentioned the show, the clearest counterpoint I could think of is when that masked magician would reveal how they did tricks.
Yeah.
It had the same tone and caliber.
I thought it was a Borat type deal. Because they had the ad and he's like, this is what is inside the human body. And there's this guy with a weird hat.
Yeah, I remember it being a weekly show. Is that wrong?
Yeah, it was. It was a recurring.
I think it was a recurring show.
It's like, today
I'm
we're
Big
looking
Mark.
at the dick.
Big Mark.
Big thick Mark.
Now, you were saying you didn't want to be graphic like that show.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
but you can be.
But I
You
can be
have
graphic
full
like that
permission.
show.
Yeah.
So here's what happened, right?
Right.
So I grew up.
Yep.
And I was big and I was thick.
Now, Hoppers Crossing?
Where
Or-
be Hoppers Crossing?
No, somewhere else.
They
Okay.
sent you somewhere else, or you just?
They sent me somewhere else.
Okay.
Who's they?
Don't worry about it. There are some things I can't go into.
Okay, right. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
good.
No,
I like
great.
that.
Of course.
I think that's important.
There are some things
You
I
ate
can't.
Mark. You were born the natural way.
Yeah, I
you
was
went
born the natural
someplace
way.
else.
I went someplace else with them.
Yeah.
And
Who's them?
They,
they, them. Yeah.
And at a certain point, I was. You think I'm big now?
Yeah.
You should have seen me.
You were
Were
bigger.
you, were you a whole normal Mark bigger?
I was as big as tall as Mark is. What, like 3 foot?
Yeah, something like
Yes.
that.
3-4 foot?
As a lot of people suspect, me and Broden are 5'2",
Yeah.
and Mark is 3 foot tall.
As the crow flies.
Whenever I
It's
meet
shocking how
someone,
small you are.
yeah, whenever I meet
real
someone
life.
in real life, they often go, "Oh, you're quite tall." I'm like, "How small did you think Mark was?"
Yeah. And Mark's 3 foot as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the crow flies.
And you were
Anyway,
bigger.
I was bigger. I was much bigger.
What are we talking?
And then I'm talking like 12 feet tall.
So there's even more than like that's fascinating. So
Yeah.
you were both your own height, Mark's height, and then another 3
Bit more.
foot
I
or so.
ate another bub.
Oh, okay.
After birth.
That's a different thing. Don't worry about that. But so don't worry about that one. But like we're not talking about that today. But
Just as a side note, there was
Yeah.
a time once where I was on a thing with Greg, and
Of course, who is playing Big Mark
and
today?
he's a great character.
Big
comedian.
Mark, yeah.
We just knew we had to get someone
What?
with that great comedic talent.
It's a good layout. And we were shooting at a place where they shot Offspring, the show that's set in
yes.
a hospital.
Yeah, I love this story.
And then a tub in a cupboard was a was a tub.
above it, in a cupboard.
There was a cupboard. There was a cupboard with a tub full of lifeless babies.
Dead bubs.
It looked like it was a tub full of babies that rubber babies who, like to look like real babies on screen
Yeah.
for a TV show, and it looked like a tub full of
But they like,
lifeless babies.
to be real though, I think they were supposed to be dead babies.
You reckon?
Because it was a medical show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think they
It was
could
a
play
medical
both.
show. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I've seamlessly transitioned away from Big Thick Mark
To classic Greg.
to classic Greg.
Classic Greg.
But Big Thick Mark will come
You're
out.
getting two characters on this podcast.
Yeah.
For the price of one, you're getting Big Mark and
Big Thick
classic
Mark
Big
and-
Thick Mark and
and
classic
classic
Greg.
You know, this is actually a little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Part of the Greg Larsen canon. Part of the law.
Is
I used to work at a place called Wow Sight and Sound
Okay, this is
this
great.
North
I didn't
Queensland,
know
in
this.
Queensland.
in Queensland, yeah.
Yeah.
Not North Queensland.
Yeah, but
Southeast.
It's all
Great
North
South
Queensland.
North of
to me.
us.
Yeah,
South
that's
of.
North Queensland is further from Southeast Queensland than Melbourne is from Southeast Queensland.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of like how the dinosaurs were closer to Cleopatra than Cleopatra is to us.
I just read a
Wow.
I
Yeah.
just read a book, The Quarterly Report about Peter Dutton. Paints a great picture of your state.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. I don't get into politics, so I'm not
yeah.
going to go on.
But I used to work at a place called Wow Sight and Sound.
Mm.
Wow Sight and Sound.
Tell me more about Wow Sight and Sound.
It was JB Hi-Fi?
yeah.
Imagine if that was way worse and it smelled like cum inside.
Yeah.
Why did it smell?
I don't know. It just smelled like cum in the Wow. Sight and
Sometimes
Sound.
things smell like cum.
Sometimes
Is it
things smell like cum.
because
You
bleach,
can't explain it, you
bleach or
can't.
whatever doesn't it smell like or like
Ammonia.
ammonia smells
smell
like
of cum.
semen.
Yeah.
Cum is a profoundly unpleasant smell.
Yeah.
When it
And it can bleach things.
it can bleach things.
Is that bleach? You
Sorry?
talking about bleach?
Cum.
Okay.
But cum is bleach.
What?
It's the same basic thing. The reason it smells the same is because it's the same. It's the same. Cum is bleach.
No, I don't
cum-
believe
cum
that
is
to be.
Cum is bleach.
I don't believe that
I
to be.
think cum is bleach.
You can make a bub with bleach,
yeah.
and you can clean things with
Yeah,
cum.
you can just as easily make a bub with bleach as you can with cum.
Should we do a disclaimer at the start of this episode? Hey, everyone, thanks for listening. This week, we make some medical claims that are completely baseless.
No, but to be clear, that's not baseless. You can.
Now you can't. I'm not saying. I'm not advocating putting bleach in a womb or anything.
Yeah.
You got to do it in like a petri dish
petri
and
dish.
stuff.
You can get just an egg, just any egg, like a chicken's egg. All eggs are the same, by
Yeah.
the way. Like an egg is just an egg until you put cum with it.
and
or
the
bleach.
the thing that determines the animal
is the cum
cum.
or the bleach.
So,
So-
I could take the egg of a human,
Yes.
Yeah.
put a chicken bleach in it,
Yeah.
Chicken cum.
Yeah,
or chicken
cum.
bleach.
You would
Chicken
get
bleach.
a
Well, you can't get
full-
chicken bleach. You can only get it's if you put
What bleach is the?
if you put bleach in, you always get that Mr. Sheen guy. Always.
Oh.
That's the fucked thing about it.
That's why he's
Yeah.
the
The
image.
man on a cleaning.
That's the man that you will get
Yeah.
if you. It's like watch out.
And he
gotta get this man if you
emerges out of the petri dish.
Yeah.
He
You put it
doesn't.
where
He's
it
not born. He doesn't have a 9-month cycle. He just sort of slowly emerges out of the petri dish over 3 days.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were
You
saying
seem
about sight and
confused. I don't
sound,
think there's anything confusing about that.
No, I don't. I'm just trying to think of what we were talking about.
But if you want any more clarity, the egg doesn't determine the animal. The cum does. If it's bleach, it over 3 days forms a little Mr. Sheen man.
Yeah.
And he's hideous for the first 2 days.
Is
He's
it-
like
Yeah.
screaming. And
Yeah.
his costume, what you'd think is a little suit, you know, his little Mr. Sheen suit,
Yeah.
that's all skin. So when he's forming, he's got like his suit is gooey. It's real fucked up.
Yeah.
You were big wow. You smelled of cum.
Yeah.
Yeah, smelled of cum. I was at Wow Sight and Sound, and then I was called Greg. I still am.
You-
Yeah,
But-
you are Greg.
Well, now you're
classic Greg.
Greg.
At various points in my life. Well, this is the thing. A new
Okay.
Greg came in, and I told everyone, you have to call him New Greg
Great.
and me Classic Greg.
That's very funny, Greg.
And thank you. And that was a nickname.
Is that
I
real?
had. That's real.
You've been called Classic Greg before.
I've been called Classic Greg before. This is not the first time in my life that I've been called Classic Greg. I've had, I think, a few nicknames that never really stuck. The only nickname that ever stuck was Wristy.
Why did you get wristy?
Because I kept saying, I thought the word wristy was really funny.
It is a funny word.
And
yeah.
I kept
because of
going.
hand jobs.
Hand jobs, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, whenever I'd go anywhere, like I'd be like, what's up? Who's up for a wristy?
Yeah, great.
You know,
You
I
would
thought,
say
I
that.
thought that was funny. I thought that was a funny bit.
It is a funny bit, Greg.
What era?
This was, I'm talking like 2004.
So in the
I'm
Iraq,
talking-
the Iraq War.
Yeah, Iraq War was in full swing. You know, we had got Saddam, and I think he had been executed.
The war had been declared won.
yeah,
we-
at that
mission
point.
accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
The mission-
wasn't that a
George-
mess?
George W.
Wasn't
on the
that-
boat had happened, but you were.
Yeah,
But
Sorry, we don't get into politics on this
Yeah,
podcast,
sorry, I
so
know, yeah.
we're not going to say whether the Iraq War was a mess or not.
yeah. It's it's
it's still up
fair.
for debate.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
and so you were called Risty during that period. I know you as Big Greg.
Yeah, Big Greg.
I know you now as Classic Greg and as Big Thick Mark. I
Big
think
Thick Mark,
that
yeah.
the
No.
character-
Big Thick Mark is a character I play. That's not me. That's
okay, sure.
That's a different thing.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure. All right.
I don't want to be typecast.
There's a lot of opportunities for you as Big Thick Mark.
No,
though.
I'm saying like I'm going to be like Big Thick Mark will return,
Mm-hmm.
but don't confuse me with Big Thick Mark. Those are different things. Like
Sure.
I am Classic Greg, I am
Sure.
Risty. These are facets of who I am. But Big
Right.
Thick Mark is a character that I play.
Sure.
You
okay.
understand?
No, I do understand that.
Yeah.
yeah.
One of my favorite Big Greg memories is being at a friend's wedding.
And Big Greg is
I
you.
just want to clarify. I don't think I've ever been called Big Greg apart from you
Well,
now.
I'm about to say my memory of you being called Big Greg is we're at a wedding. You're in a wedding party, and this nice middle-aged marriage celebrant is walking through, and this person's in there, and the best man is this person, and Big Greg, and and I thought that was really, really funny.
That's right. I was literally called Big Greg by the wedding celebrant at a wedding, and I didn't know that was going to be happening. And I don't think the wedding celebrant understood that it was a gag.
Yeah, right.
Like, I think they thought it was just like a cool.
That was your name. Like
Like
that
a
was
thing.
the what had stuck nickname.
And the wedding celebrant definitely seemed taken aback when the whole audience, the whole crowd
audience.
laughed. Yeah, and then I did a speach. I got a lot of laughs.
You
Yeah,
got
it
to.
was like-
That
it was
was
a good
up
gig.
there for speeches.
It was a good gig.
Yeah, good gig. Now, do we get Big Mark back?
Oh, I would
Big Thick
love
Mark.
to see Big Thick Mark, but I think he doesn't exist. Is
Yeah, no,
what
let's get
Greg
clarity
was
on that.
saying?
No. Big Thick Mark is real.
So we don't, but he won't come on anymore.
I'm
or-
sorry, Zach.
Where you going?
Oh,
Oh, he's back.
but there are issues because I don't think Zach understands character comedy.
Hi, you're real.
I'm real. I'm
Yeah.
Big Thick Mark.
Yeah, he's real and he's
I'm
back.
real.
You
I'm
were all
back.
wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Do you know cum is bleach?
Yeah, I know that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Big Greg told us that.
Yeah.
I learned that on that SVS show when the guy cut up the dead guy's dick.
Big Mark.
Big Thick Mark, yeah.
Now, are you here for good?
Yeah, I'm here for good.
That is a double. He's going a bit Kendrick Lamar there. That line has two meanings. Are you here? Are you here for good from now on?
Yeah.
And also, are you here for
To
good?
do good.
Or are
Yeah,
you here for
both.
bad or
Both.
mischief?
Well, it depends on what you think is good and bad. You know,
Yeah.
like morals are relative. You know what I mean? Like morality, ethics, and all that
Giving
kind of stuff.
to the poor.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Big Thick Mark's a neoliberal.
But we're not going to say whether that's good or bad.
No, we're not gonna.
you
we're
don't
not
get
gonna-
into politics on this show.
No, we don't go into.
Why is it bad to give to the poor?
Oh, because they need to make their own way in the world, you know? It's like
Uh-oh.
survival of the fittest kind of thing.
Big Thick Mark. Okay.
I just want to point out that, like, you know, I'm Big Thick Mark.
yeah, you're a classic character.
I'm Big Thick Mark.
Yeah.
Right? And so
You hold the same beliefs as Mark, though, so that's good.
that's what I'm saying is I hold the exact same beliefs as your standard Mark, classic Mark.
Sure.
Standard Mark, classic Mark.
Everything I say, if I express an opinion,
Yeah.
it is the opinion of Mark Bonanno.
Sure.
I just
Okay.
want to be clear about that.
Just going
No
back to
doubt in my mind. Yeah.
going back to morality, on the good and the bad.
And I will just mark. We will get to. We will do the morality now, and we will also get back to exactly how you came into being and the whole
how much,
question. at the
because
top.
there's still stuff I got to explain.
There's still
That's gonna-
questions
that's
that
gonna
need
blow
answering.
your fucking mind.
Feeding a bird in
It's
the
gonna
park.
fucking blow your mind.
Feeding a bird in the park.
Feeding a bird in the park.
Yeah, some seed. Bringing seed down to the park, tossing it to some local magpies.
I tend not to do that.
Was that good or bad?
That's bad, but it's good if you feed birds other birds.
It's good if you feed birds other birds.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to make them be cannibals.
Is that
Yeah.
like the Social Network guy who fed, in the movie, he fed chicken to a chicken, and that was brought up.
Oh no, you're thinking of that one where Fran Drescher marries the dictator.
Yeah, you're
What
thinking
movie
The
is
Beautician
that?
and the Beast.
The Beautician and the Beast.
It's a very good movie,
I am
and
not
it's not
thinking
like The Nanny at all.
no.
That's the thing. It's not like The Nanny.
it's a
People
different
say it's
story.
like The Nanny. It's not like The Nanny.
Mr. Sheffield is from England.
Yeah.
The Beast is from a vague Eastern European
Different country.
Mr.
Yeah.
Sheffield is a independently wealthy man living in New York City. The Beast is a dictator.
Yeah.
Zach.
What they don't really mention much in the movie is that the Mr. Beast, it had committed serious war crimes and
No,
atrocities.
yeah. Awful guy.
Yeah, like really, really bad.
And sorry to be clear, if you haven't seen The Beautician and the Beast, it tells the story of the nanny and Mr. Beast, the popular YouTuber.
Yeah.
Who
was a
has committed
dictator.
war crimes.
Yeah.
Can I be clear? Because I don't know. I've removed the Beautician and the Beast from my head.
I saw it at the
Yeah.
movies.
the sitcom The Nanny.
I believe that.
It's true.
It makes me sick to my stomach to think that someone went to the movies to see
I went
it.
with the whole family. I think I was 7 or 8 years old. And all I remember, the only scene in the entire film that I remember is towards the end, someone in the beautician's family is feeding chicken to chickens. And they play it as this light joke. And I remember just being like, this is horrific.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they took the nanny
Yeah.
And they did it again, but with a heightened sort of filmic sense.
With a dictator who'd committed war crimes.
Played by Timothy Dalton.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot it was him. That's a great
You've looked it up.
casting.
Yep.
You can just look stuff up.
Yeah, on the internet.
So fun fact about The Beautician and the Beast, a film that I have more knowledge in my brain about than I thought I did. She went to a speech pathologist, a speech to person to undo her Fran Fine voice. She
The Moustache Sheffield.
Yeah, because that's her voice. She worked hard to get rid of that Queen's accent because she wanted to bring something new to the character. She spent a lot of time and money on it. She got there on day one and they were like, oh, no, just do the voice.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I there's a bit of trivia about that I can't remember the exact thing.
Yeah.
But there was a quote on the thing that said like Fran Drescher's never been funnier. And they put that on the poster. And I could be getting the exact quote wrong, but this is the vibe of
Never
the
been
quote.
funnier.
And then, but the full quote was then a bag of wet sand or something like that.
Oh,
like
that's
Oh,
the
they
full
did
quote
this.
was bad, and they made the short quote good.
That's great.
I'm big, thick Mark still.
Do you remember when they did
That's why my voice is like slightly different.
Do you remember when they did that poster for that one where Tom Hardy played twins? Appropriate for you, the big thick
Yeah,
twin.
because I ate my fetal twin, Mark
Yeah.
Banana.
Where
In the
they had
womb.
5 and 4 stars all behind the people, and then between characters, it looked like they made it look like there was 5 stars being obscured by the characters, but they put 2.5-star reviews on the poster.
That's cool.
What was this for?
It was for a Tom Hardy film, and
Wow.
they because they wanted it to look at all the 5-star
Yeah.
reviews, but they had characters in front of the stars.
Have you ever
Very
got
funny?
Have you ever got a 5-star review, Big Thick Mark?
I have, yeah. Oh, big, thick Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for doing a
Yeah,
doing a big shit.
yeah, right.
Doing a big shit.
Yeah,
And
which
what publication reviewed your big shit?
Big Shit magazine.
Oh, sure.
Well, they
Yeah.
seem.
Well, they're the authorities on big shit.
Yeah, there's a big shit magazine, and they're called Big Shit magazine.
You did a big thick shit.
No,
You did a big shit.
I did a big shit. It wasn't thick,
It was quite a thin, long shit.
thin and spirally. I hate talking about this, but
Well,
but this is a nice segue.
Oh, great.
Into how Mark Banana came to be.
yes. So you've been sent away from Hoppers Crossing by them.
Yeah,
And you are how old at this point?
now. We're talking. How old was I in 2018? I was.
You would have been 20-ish, 21.
No, not me. I'm big, thick Mark.
Are you the same age as Mark? Classic Mark?
No, I'm a bit older. It's. Do you know? It's really complicated. But do you know about time dilation?
Yes.
So
I went through a thing a few years ago. Yes.
essentially, your speed relative to your speed relative to any other moving object can affect the way you experience time, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, if you were traveling at 90 c, so 90% of the speed of light, away
Yeah.
from me, then you travel back at
Yeah.
90% of the speed of light. Time has passed more. Your clock has ticked slower for you than it has for me. So I would be older than you.
I think I get it because I saw Morbius, felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's not quite. So what you're
You
talking
make a
about
little
is an
gag
emotional
there, but
response.
Yeah, that's a little gag, a little joke.
So it's more the idea that a
Yeah.
photon, which travels at the speed of light,
Yeah.
it doesn't age at all. So
Yeah, I
Well,
saw.
that's the thing. It's like,
Watch a bad movie, it feels like a lifetime.
sure, you're making another little joke
yeah,
there.
if you were
It's very
traveling,
flippant, yeah,
if you were
but-
traveling, or if you were near a very like a massive object that had a great gravitational pull, or if you were traveling at a very fast rate watching that movie, then yes, that would apply.
It would apply, but it also this brings up other questions about gravity as well, because gravity, when you say gravitational pull, like that is a good sort of colloquial way to explain it. But the thing about gravity is it's not a force in the traditional sense of a force. It is a description of the curvature of space-time. So if everything travels in a straight
Yeah.
path,
But
if space-time is curved, you're still traveling in a straight path, but relative to the curvature of space-time.
Orbits are a straight path
Yeah.
through the curvature of space.
Exactly.
It's
That's
also
exactly correct. Yeah.
great cross axes of what we're talking about. You could talk about the film Gravity and say, "Whew, that felt like a lifetime."
So it
Yeah, you
wouldn't
make a
feel
little
like
gag
a
there.
lifetime. So maybe to an outside observer, yes, that film. So
If you
unless,
didn't like the film,
so
if you didn't like the
no,
film
yeah,
and it was a drawl to get through,
sure, it might feel a little longer, but for it to actually be a lifetime, you would have to be an outside observer in less curved
But do-
space-time or more curved
you can see-
space-time.
Well, either way, it depends on your speed as well. So your speed relative to the observer, because the speed of light, c, is the same for any observer at any point, right?
you
So
can see
if you are
that
traveling,
films are getting longer.
Yes, and that is a good point,
not
but just a
necessarily true that you can
separate
do-
issue.
Yeah, it's a separate issue. But if you imagine the photons that are being projected by the projector on the film Gravity, right?
Yeah.
They are projected onto the screen at the speed of light at c, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is, from that photon's perspective,
Just keep that voice up, remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
from that photon's perspective,
And this is also
Big
much
Thicc
more
Mark.
Zach. This isn't very marky.
well, this is big. This is the parts of Mark that I'm Big Thick Mark. Just
Yeah.
to be clear,
You're
I'm
your
not
own
Mark.
person.
I'm my own person.
I worry
There's a
though
lot-
that you're moving into my territory
Sure.
with the nerd shit.
Sure. Okay. Well, if it helps, we could fight, like a physical fight.
You know, and if you were little Mark still,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I'm squaring you up. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, because I could win in a fight. In fact, I could win in a fight against any human being that's ever lived.
We know at this point you've killed or eaten 2 babies.
Yes, that you know of. Yes,
But but have you ever picked a fight with someone your own size?
I once beat Mike Tyson in a fight.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you're the photon.
the photon. Yeah, so the photon's perspective, time doesn't pass.
You understand, Broden?
So time
No.
is sort of meaningless to a photon, if that makes sense.
Because the speed limit of the universe.
Can I just break in for a second?
Yeah.
I've got something to say at the end of this. I can't think of any boring movies for my next bit.
Boring. Depends on your perspective. I mean, I disagree completely, but people have said The Irishman
I
as
was
an
gonna say
example
The
of a really
Irishman.
long, boring
Perfect.
movie.
Keep going.
But I disagree completely. I love The Irishman.
Yeah.
I saw it at a cinema.
Really,
Yeah, it
I'm
was good
jealous
to
of
see
that.
it at
yeah,
cinema,
I'm
yeah.
jealous of that. I watched it. I talked to Alexi, friend of the
Friend of the podcast,
Martin
Alexis
Scorsese
Toliopoulos.
on this
Saw him this
podcast.
weekend. Caught
Oh,
up with him.
that's
I was
cool.
in Sydney.
I messaged him because he had seen The Irishman, and I said, "Be honest, should I go to the cinema or should I watch this at home? What's your best viewing experience?" And he said, "Honestly, normally I would say cinema." He said, "Home. It is a long movie, and you can have a little snacky." He goes, "You can have a sundae, you can have some ice cream while they have an ice cream, or you could have, like it's a movie where you want to have a snacky, you
Wait.
want to maybe go to the
And then
toilet.
you can see it at Gold Class as well, where you can get a sundae.
You could, yes.
I'm a big believer if it's a big 3.5 hour movie. Counterintuitively, I think that's the sort of thing you should see at the movies because then you're forced to watch it and you can't keep pausing it and shit.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I'm Big Thick Mark.
Big Thick Mark, did you need to finish the photon point? Or
No, I don't even really understand why I was talking about the
Yeah.
photon point.
I think
Oh, no,
basically- yeah.
to explain why Mark and I are different ages.
Right.
Because
Yes,
Mark,
yes.
in a way, by living in my stomach, has travelled faster than the speed of light.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically what happened was, I got to cut to the chase. How long is this podcast?
As long as you need it to be, Big Thick Mark. We're introducing our newest member.
Yeah, well, I ate him. So essentially, here's what happened, right? For up until 2018, and how old was I in 2018? How old was I?
You were maybe 27, 26.
No.
You were younger or older than
You're
Mark.
a bit older.
I'm older than Mark.
So you're maybe 35.
My age is the same age as Greg Larsen,
Okay.
and that is 40.
Okay. Are you 40?
I just turned 40.
Congrats.
Out of 40.
I fear.
Big Thick Mark.
Wait, hang on. Hey, I'm Greg.
Hey, Greg. Oh, wow.
I turned 40. I feel like I invited you to my 40th,
Yeah.
and you didn't come.
I was somewhere.
You had
yeah, you didn't
something.
come.
Yeah.
You texted me saying, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
And I went, "Oh,
Yeah, I had an event, I
you
think.
came."
I did come, and you were like, this one?
Yeah.
Of all of them, this one.
But Big Thick Mark, bring back Big Thick Mark.
How you going?
Hey.
You're
Big
40.
Thick Mark.
Yeah, I'm 40. So how old was I in 2018? I actually, it's
6 years ago.
6 years ago, 34.
34.
I was 34. God, time just gets away from you. It just fucking gets away from you.
Yeah, it does. And
I'm 40.
It moves quicker as you get older, doesn't it? As a fact.
Yeah.
And
Factually, it gets quicker.
But it also moves slower inside the belly of.
It moves in slower. So I hadn't pooped, right? Up until 2018, I'd never pooped.
Yeah.
How were you in 30? Was it heavy? Did you feel like you hadn't pooped? Do you know what I mean?
I didn't know that it was a thing. And then someone's like, oh, when did you last? I went to a doctor and I was like, oh, I got a belly ache.
Because they didn't teach him about pooping.
Yeah.
And this is before you're in Big Shit magazine as a...
Yes, exactly. It was before I was in Big Shit magazine. And I was at the doctor and my stomach was like literally just going like that, right?
Yeah.
And I could hear it going like, oh, I'm silly. And like...
Wow, yeah.
that's
so
Mark.
he
It's a
was fully
Marxism.
formed.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
And then the doctor said, when was the last time you pooped? And I said, what are you talking about?
What is a poop?
And then he
Yeah.
had to show me a video. And he showed me like a lot of videos.
Showed you that guy with a hat cutting the guy open and being like, here's how
He
poop works.
showed me that, but yeah, he just showed me a lot of videos of poops and stuff. And then like, and at a certain point I was like, I don't know, like, does the fact that they're pooping on someone else, is that relevant to
Right,
it?
okay,
You know,
so
like,
he was showing you those kinds of videos.
and then he was just showing me all kinds of pornos. And I
Yeah,
was just
right,
like,
okay,
are you a
yeah.
real doctor? And he was like, nah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to like trap him, but then
And you realise he was part of them.
he was part of them. He was one of them.
He was one of
He
them.
was one of them. So I had to trap him. And
You trapped Mark.
No, trapped the doctor. He was a fake doctor, so it was
He was a
fine. I
fake
trapped
doctor.
him. Keep up, mate.
Sorry.
So they've infiltrated the medical profession in order to
Yeah.
keep Big Thick Mark on point.
Can you give me the TLDR?
The TLDR is then I did a big poop.
Yeah.
And Mark Bonanno came out in 2018. And that was the first time Mark Bonanno ever existed.
So now that's great.
That was the first time in 2018 was the first time he was real. He didn't exist before that, prior to that.
What I love about this,
Yeah.
right, is it gives us an explanation.
Yeah.
Gives us something to hook into.
Yeah.
But it still has, a sort of strange, dreamlike series
mythology.
of question marks because, Mark was making stuff with Auntie Donna before 2018.
Videos and footage and photos.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. You reckon you do.
Yeah.
Look it
Yes.
up.
Look it up. That's
don't.
fun.
It's the Mandela effect. Everyone collectively remembers this thing. Like, you look it up, you will not find a single video prior to 2018
This
with
is
Mark
actually
in it.
quite scary.
You will
I
not
don't-
find a
or
single.
Like we watch
Look
videos
at the
with Mark and
photos.
it's not him.
Look at the photos you have. He's not in them. You think he is, but he's not.
I find
that's
that-
what's crazy.
We were
Very-
doing cum gear before
I
2018,
find
man.
that-
Neither of us were bringing that into the...
Yeah, I find it very unlikely. I don't have the wherewithal or the infrastructure to be able to look that up myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
it's you don't want to open that Pandora's box because when you do, I think you need to live in the lie. Because when you realize, when you look it up, when you try and find a video from pre-2018 and see that Mark isn't in it, your entire reality will become catatonic.
Can I tell you what will happen?
Yeah.
I've realized what will happen.
Yes.
What will happen is it will drive us insane.
Yeah.
And it will drive us so insane that we want to change history to make Mark there again.
Yeah.
So we get the hat guy, we kill you, we get him to cut open your stomach, figure out the time traveling qualities of your stomach. We use that to go back in time. The final twist at the end of this whole story is that we are them. We are the people that did it
my
all.
fucking God. You don't have any idea what's going on
Can I
here.
get the TLDR of that?
I'm doing a 12 monkeys.
This is 12 Monkeys. This is Looper.
This is Lejeté.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is like, and you can't unpack it too much because it'll just break down.
Yeah.
But
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
No, yeah, a bit of Back to the
Where
Future.
when Iron Man meets his dad at the Stark Industries?
Hang on a second.
Predestination, Broden?
So,
Predestination.
okay, great. Big Mark has put on a fedora.
No, I haven't.
Oh, new
I
character.
am Doc from Back to the Future.
Oh.
Wait a second.
Zach has put on a fedora. And the fedora immediately fell off.
It fell off your head.
Oh, it's me, Marty.
Marty McFly and Doc Brown
Marty
are here.
McFly. We have to go back to the past, Marty McFly.
Oh, Marty McFly. I hope I get to finger my mum.
Oh, you definitely will. You definitely will, Marty McFly. I've got a time machine and it works. You gotta get inside the time machine, Marty McFly.
Doctor,
Don't check the time, Broden.
Doctor.
Yes.
What the fuck is
I'm
this?
I'm a
Doctor.
little boy, and this is my old friend, Doctor.
I'm Doctor. I'm Dr.
What
Brown.
the fuck is this, guys?
This is Back to the Future.
And Marty
sketch.
McFly.
I've got a hot girlfriend, but not so hot that we can't just change her between movies.
Is that the different actor?
Different actress.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that. I'm Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown, I
I'm
want to finger my mum.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the whole reason I invented time travel, because I thought, God, is there a way you can finger your mum and not get in trouble for it? And you can't get in trouble if you go back in time.
I want to finger my mum and I want to make friends with a young Crispin Glover.
Marty and Doc Brown were out of time.
No. Crispin Glover was in a movie about rats called Ben.
Do you want to?
And he once nearly kicked David Letterman in the face.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming in, Doc Brown, Big Mark,
It was me the whole time.
Greg Larsen.
And it was me, Zach. I was just playing Marty.
You can catch Greg's wacky adventures on his own podcast.
The Greg Larsen Show.
Oh, wow.
really cool.
If you search on like Spotify.
Spotify, yeah. And also, can I plug a thing?
Plug as much-
please.
If you're in Melbourne, I'm doing the Greg Larsen Show live at Comedy Republic like 5 times.
Oh, wow.
This month, like Friday nights, late show. It's going to be a late show. And
Okay,
it'll be crazy.
when's this coming out, Linz?
We can maybe push it forward.
Yeah,
bump
we're
it
bumping
up.
it up for you.
Bumping it up.
Not that we're
Oh,
not that we're
was this going to
banking.
come out like ages?
Not that we're
This could have
banking.
come out in 2030 if we wanted.
See, some fans think we're banking, but this is proof that it's fresh.
Yeah,
because
'cause-
because this will come out. Definitive proof that we
It's
make
not
them
banked.
fresh.
We had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the dates?
I don't know, man. Friday, the 24th of May.
Okay.
Then the following Friday. Then the following Friday. Not the 14th of June. Hang on, let me get my phone.
May or June?
alright.
Wait, where do we...
We'll put it in the information.
Do you have
Yeah,
a website,
the
Greg?
24th, the 31st,
Of what month?
the 7th of June, of May. The 24th of May, the 31st of May, the 7th of June, the 21st of June.
What's with these dates, man?
The 28th of June. Friday nights. Every Friday night.
Every Friday.
Friday
night.
nights at Comedy Republic for the month of June.
Greg,
Fun.
Except the 14th.
an absolute honour to have you.
Thank you.
And thank you to Big Mark. We hope to see Big Mark and Doc Brown and Marty McFly
Yeah,
again.
Doc Brown and Marty.
Yeah, I feel like we
McFly.
only scratched the surface.
I
of
was
Doc
really
Brown and Marty
worried
McFly.
because, that was the impetus of Rick and Morty. I thought, can we forge our own path with a... And I
Yeah.
think we really did. I
Yeah.
love... I'm already thinking...
I think
thinking.
this could be a full through, like you could make movies.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Back to the Future remake.
Doctor and Marty boy.
And then in brackets, Back to the Future remake unofficial.
It's
Close
the
brackets.
same plot.
Yeah.
But we improvise it. Every
Yeah.
scene is the same.
Yeah, I really want to do this. Can we get a GoFundMe?
See you next week, folks. Goodbye.